A Pandemic Story by Whitney Carpenter. A year ago, our lives aggressively changed. A lot of big events had our year off to a really rough start. But a new development added way more stress, anxiety, and depression than we thought we could carry. A deadly disease swept the nation by storm. A disease that would spread through just breathing too close to people was one that we didn't imagine happening. It started out with schools being canceled for 2 weeks, then for a month, then for the rest of the school year, and then the whole following school year. The whole world was thrown into a lockdown. School was online, work was virtual or canceled completely, and stores and restaurants were closed. The only people working at the time were those labeled essential. Essential workers include postal workers, nurses, doctors, police and fire, grocery store workers, and many more. Unless you were going to get groceries, you were expected to stay in your house. Going to get groceries was a feat in of itself. Wear a mask and stay 6 feet apart were two phrases that were painted on every door. People would wear gloves, hand sanitizer was frequently used, and anytime you coughed or sneezed in public, you'd get a death stare from a stranger. The unknown end to the pandemic is what made everything so much worse. We were given false hope daily about when this madness would end, but it never did. Having to force our original schedules out the window and get used to a pace of slowing down was hard for a lot of people. We made use of streaming services, books, board games, and art to pass our time, and we learned how to create a feeling of community, even when some people were miles apart through video calls on Zoom. When restaurants started finally opening up, at first they were only open for takeout or delivery, but eventually got back to sit-in restaurant eating. Everything that was our normal was twisted and turned to fit into this new normal. The new normal. We didn't realize that this lifestyle would become the new normal. We didn't want this new normal. We wanted to be able to hug the people we wanted to and see our friends. There was nothing normal about this. One whole year later, and here we are, still in the midst of a global pandemic, but there is an end in sight now. We have 3 different available vaccines for this pandemic, and we've learned how to get used to the new normal. For people who have never lived through a global pandemic before, we made the best of it all. Thank you.